Willkommen, Huanan, and welcome to Full Throttle Racing's Division 2. It's time for race 4 of the season, and my name is Webbo. I'm here as your commentator for the evening to help you through this race we've got on the cards for you. We're a couple of drivers down due to the unfortunate and perennial load shedding issues, but I can keep you abreast of the driver changes at the moment. Saki replaces Bigsboy as permanent driver in the Haas. Martin replaces Rubber General as permanent driver in the Williams. And those two drivers departing will slot into reserve roles. Stoffel and Panda are unable to join us tonight as well, but I'm sure we will have a fantastic race on the cards for you. Hi to Shellin, who joins us straight away. That's Shakes. And let me know if you're joining us, who you're here to support, and what you're enjoying. I'm on my own in the comms box as usual. So if you see something that I'm not talking about, do speak up, of course, and help me out. For the championship here in Division 2, as we get ready for the start of Q1 in Hungary, the championship is led by Stoffel on 80 points. We have Brad in second place on 56, Punaki on 50, Solsmeister in fourth place is on 45, Burn It Down joint fifth with Donovan on 41, and then the rest of the top 10, Avalak, Shakes, Cowboy and Ricky Lau, who had to leave us early last week. I'm hoping that load shedding won't affect Ricky so much tonight. He had to leave us just as we finished off Q3. But let's get the screens organised before I take you through the current standings on the constructors side. Punaki first out of the pits. That's not for the first time. But Alfa Romeo lead the championship on 198 points, narrowly, just 4 points ahead of Ferrari on 194. And then a long way back for third placed Alfa Tauri on 123. Williams 115, closely followed by Mercedes on 113. So, full qualifying in effect for you. Q1 underway already. A total of 18 minutes, down to 16 and a half before the drivers could get themselves out on track. And we will take you through the tight and twisty confines here of the Hungary ring, one of the mainstays of the Grand Prix calendar, with a very distinct character of its own. Lots of long multi or long apex corners. The last two of the lap, of course, prime examples. But we'll join Punaki on board and take you through this lap. Apparently, I'm a little bit low on volume, so I will move the microphone slightly closer. Thank you for that, Shellin. And down into turn 1 then. Hard braking. Again, another long apex, a little bit loose in the rear on the way out of turn 1. And we shape towards turn 2. A very long, again, parabolic corner. Hugs the apex. You can take an early, a late or an average apex through there. Turn 3 is a flat out corner up the hill towards the blind entry of turn 4. Use two wheels on the curb, but if you get 3 or 4 wheels on the curb, it's problems. Turn 5, quite straightforward right-hander, and then this very, very tricky Imola Variante Alta-like chicane of turn 6 and 7. And now we get into the slightly quicker section of the track in the middle sector. Left, right, left, right. Now this is turn 11, setting you up for a little short straight down to braking for turn 12. 90, maybe 95 degree right-hander. You might see an overtake or two into there if someone stuffs up turn 11. Into turn 13, then we're almost finished the lap already. Stay left for turn 15. Will they short shift up to fifth gear? Not quite, but fifth gear quite quickly, and it's a 1:17.450 for Punaki, straight out of the box. A nice time to get on the board. Revolutions here for Punaki, I think. Comcom Puna is what he means by is a supportive noise. I do need to brush up on my Afrikaans, or you guys need to type in English. Jacques gets a 1:16.723. Nice time on the board as we join Martin in the Williams, finish up his lap right now. So turn 12 gets on the power nicely we've got Donovan joining Jacques on the provisional front row, but it looks like Martin getting that one all kinds of wrong, unfortunately. Is that Esitronic finishing off his lap? It is, and, well, that's one way to go through the final corner. Unfortunately, it's not a quick way, so Esitronic gets a 125.645, probably a little bit of front wing damage to boot. And I think it's only Cowboy left actually on an attack lap on the first attempt here. Botta went in and did a 119.625. Then let's see how Cowboy progresses. It's got a colour palette on the helmet reminiscent of the Miami Grand Prix. It was all bright pastel colours, wasn't it? Into then the penultimate corner. He got a purple middle sector, but that's only for himself, so no reason to get too excited. And then Cowboy away to the line, a 118.8, middle of the road, but a big gap to P4. Cowboy goes P5 then, and we've got outlaps from J-Boy and from Ricky Lau to come. I wonder if Botta is going to try an extra one. No, he's on his way in. I thought on the medium tyres he might go for another lap, but similar to Donovan, who I presume is on his way in. Although he's gone round for a third lap here, Donovan. So maybe not. We've got some people correcting each other's Afrikaans. So a little bit of a debate here. Donovan, he is going for another lap on the soft tyres, so we'll join him and stick with him as he gets a purple first sector. Looks overcast at the moment. I haven't heard any specific weather forecast from the drivers. Maybe they'll let us know either in the live chat or in the driver chat room, where on the weather forecast, and I'll try and get in touch with them and see if they might let me know how their sessions are going. But Donovan, unfortunately, there goes an invalidation, and Ricky Lau is on track. He's just had to deal with a Red Bull in the way slightly. Difficult section of the track. You don't really want to come across traffic in the middle of the Hungary ring. Hi to Josh, who joins us from SAF1, cheering on the Red Bulls. I reminded that here in FTR, the Constructors' Championship is contributed by both Premier Division and Division 2. So you often get the cross-divisional teammates joining us. Ricky goes a shade slower than his teammate, up to P4. So a nice early lap from Ricky. We've got Wesso on his first lap as well. Point system, points down to 12th, with bonus points available for fastest lap if you are in the top group, and for pole. And there's also an additional 5 points for a Grand Slam, which is defined as pole, fastest lap, and leading every lap. So lots to play for, even for someone way out there in front. Wezo then, navigating into the middle of the circuit. This is a devilishly difficult section of the track to go fast over and over again. Into the penultimate corner, keeping the lap alive so far. A little bit of a margin to the track limits, which is what you want on your first lap out. There's 10 minutes to go in the session, plenty of time. It's a short circuit. A P3 for Wezo at 17.0 is a very handy time indeed for your first lap. Let's join, well, I was going to say let's join Avalak League owner, but he beat me to it, and a 16.3 tops the timing on his first lap out there. Looks like Martin on another one, and in fact on a purple middle sector. So Martin in the Williams, new permanent driver now. And into the final turn 14, away then to the line, and it's a 17.4 P6 is what it's recognised as at the moment. Let's go and have a look at the Mercedes team. Haven't seen that car represented yet. There's only one car in the team tonight, and that's Solsmeister. Welcome if you're just joining us. If you want to hear and get up to speed with the with the championship standings currently here in round 4 of the championship. Between sessions, maybe go back and rewind the stream to the beginning. I did go through it all. I might mention it from time to time, but Stoffel, Brad and Shakes, they're the guys that have really been fighting this, fighting for the top of the tree at the moment. There's Brad in front of Solsmeister's Mercedes. Brad obviously warming up for a new lap. Off we go to the line then. Crosses the line and it's P8 for Solsmeister. Wezo has exited the session. He's retired from the session voluntarily. I think he thinks that's good enough for 17-0. And he'd be pretty unfortunate to be beaten, you'd have to say. Purple first sector for Shakes. He's really on it here in the Ferrari. Have to question whether these Ferraris have got a little bit extra in the fuel or in the tank at the start of this season. They've been absolutely on fire. I can't really speak about Premier Division, but certainly in Division 2, Ferrari have been very, very strong. So last little straight, 3 corners to go for Shakes into turn 12. 13. Takes a lot of speed in and lets the engine brake the car towards the late apex. And it's always difficult to know the right line through these long looping corners. Gets to the line though, and it's a 16.6 on medium tyres. Tremendous work from Shakes. His teammate Brad right behind him, on track at least. Currently at the foot of the field, crosses the line P8, some distance from his teammate. The only advantage to running the mediums here is getting seat time on the tyre if you're intending to get through, and also to save soft sets for the race. So you might be looking at a possible 2-stopper for some drivers. Might be an opportunity to use 2 sets of softs, but in all likelihood we will see 1-stop races. But maybe the drivers wanting to reserve as many clear soft sets as possible for Q3. Dan then through the corners. Can he get himself on the leaderboard and away from the elimination zone? I do try and focus at the end of Qs 1 and 2 on the drivers who are at the foot of the field, because we won't see them again until the race. And it's a big challenge to get back into the rhythm with only a formation lap to run. So Dan out of the final corner, away to the line, and has he got himself off the off the foot of the field? No, because it was an out lap. So there we go. He's now starting his lap into turn 1. Nice apex through turn 1. Maybe a little bit of a correction and a little bit of oversteer really on the exit of turn 1. It really is a bit of a crime, frankly, that here in the Hungaroring they haven't named the corners yet. Although if they were going to name them in Hungarian, that might be a bit of a difficulty for everybody to pronounce them, particularly me. So turn 5 appears to be several bites at the cherry. It does look like Dan is potentially on a pad here. His steering input somewhat blocky. Hopefully someone will confirm that for me if Dan is indeed on a pad. Oh, very slow through turn 11. That will really hurt him for this lap time. With Botta, the slowest driver at the moment, on a 1:19.6. So clearly the previous guy who was next up has managed to get a good time in. So Dan then looks for that line to come as quickly as possible. It's an 18.4. He does beat Botta. He does beat Botta indeed. So at the foot of the field, currently at risk of elimination, in 12th Ron, in 13th the other Aston Martin of Esitronic here, who's going a quarter of a second faster than he's been before through sector 1. And then Dan, Cowboy and Botta are your drivers looking to avoid elimination if they possibly can. Esitronic then struggling for grip, up to 13th, but no better. Going to try for another one. Just over 3.5 minutes to go before we have the checkered flag. We've got Botta on an outlap. He's on old mediums, it looks like. We've got Esitronic currently riding with him. Again, another driver looking a little bit staggered in his inputs, and that's yeah, you don't want to catch that inside edge of the curb in the turn 6 and 7 chicane. It's very, as I said before, very similar to Imola's Variante Alta. They just haven't painted that inside edge yellow, and it can really upset the car. Just ask Charles Leclerc. Botta then, I think he's winding up on his outlap really here. Might have made it round already. Threads the needle through the chicane. Very difficult to carry the speed and direction change at the same time. Gets good turn in on these older mediums, so maybe a scrub set of mediums is a good tactic here to extract the speed. We know there's Red Bull teammates in the live chat cheering them on. Josh among them. Solsmeister's retired. All the top 8 and 10th places have retired, so the rest of the drivers really going to push to try and get through to Q2. 2.5 minutes to go now, and Botta sprints to the line. Can he lift himself out of trouble? He cannot. An 18.4 is the fastest the Red Bull driver can get on this set of tyres. He might go again. Let's have a look at telemetry. Is he using his telemetry? No, he's not. So what's the deal here? Is he just waiting for track evolution before he spends his ERS? Make another charge lap on this one. Interesting tactic from Botta, just to get those tyres into the operating window. Funaki, I think, is actually on a lap though. So coming out of turn 1 into the dip in the Rolex bridge before finding a good braking or at least lift-off zone for turn 2. Very sharp turn in onto turn 3. He was lucky not to get chronic oversteer on the way out. Purple first sector though, so looking good for Funaki. Avoiding the sausage section of the inside edge of those curbs through 6 and 7, 8 and 9. Not looking as quick as other drivers have done. That could be a setup change. It could be favouring some top speed. He's still quicker than he's been before, but I think he's lost a bit of time in that middle sector. It did look less than ideal, but currently riding P9, so an improvement will certainly make him safe, especially given everyone else has retired. Looks like Cowboy's given up the ghost. Won't go round for another lap. Funaki then, scrub set of softs, and doesn't improve. Interesting stuff, doesn't improve. So we've got 30 seconds left to go before the checkered flag. This is the final laps for the drivers, riding currently with Ricky Lau. We've got Botta on a lap as well. Let's just have a look at him. He is 4/10 faster than he's been before through sector 1. Ricky Lau gets a 4/10 improvement and purple sector 2. So the track definitely ramping up for the drivers. Ricky though, P11, was right with his teammate. He's got Salzmeister between them at the moment. What will it be though as he heads towards the line for Ricky Lau? Crosses the line, P6 for Ricky, and we've got Botta crossing his second sector, 6/10 up now. So Botta definitely on course to get up the order, but he might still struggle to beat Ron in 13th position. So depending on how the game decides to eliminate people, still not on course to be particularly safe. Again, medium tyres for Botta. Heads to the line, only up to 14th. I'm not sure he's safe. We'll see what the game algorithm says. And I have had confirmed that the weather is going to be dry for the whole evening tonight. So that's info from Brad. I'm grateful to Brad to take the time to do that for us. Is Ricky or Funaki able to run an extra lap? I'm not sure. No, they're both on cooldown laps. So it looks like, unfortunately, we're certainly going to lose Cowboy. We may lose Esitronic and Botta. We'll have a look at the screens, but that is the end of Q1. So a reminder to everybody, please, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please do so, and like the video in between sessions if you can bring yourself to. That would be awesome. Really helps with the YouTube algorithm. Algorithm. And into the pits then comes Ricky Lau to finish his session. I'm surprised the drivers haven't just retired on track, frankly. And the other drivers still in the pits, waiting for the game timer to run out. Instead, I think Botta might have retired. That's why the AI is taking him around. And we might be subject to a 1 minute 15 wait for the next run. So I guess I can talk to you a little bit about the standings once again, in case you were late to the party. So Stoffel leads on 80 from Brad on 56, Punaki on 50, Soulsmeister on 45, joint 5th, Burn It Down and Donovan, then Avalak joint 7th with Shakes on 30 points, Cowboy on 24, Ricky Lau 22, Botta, Ron, J-Boy, Panda top 14. But here is your standings then. Avalak took the fastest time, quarter of a second ahead of Donovan, Shakes, Jacques, Wezo, Lau, J-Boy, Martin, Brad, Punaki, Soulsmeister, Dan, Ron. Botta got through in 14th, Esitronic in 15th, and we did only lose Cowboy from the Q1, so he will start in 16th and dead last unless we get a reserve join us during this qualifying session. So we'll have a 15 driver run through to Q2, and the only reason I'm hesitant to be sure that we would have just one elimination is I've seen all manner of numbers. I've even seen it reach the game decide that we have 9 drivers to contest Q3, so it's been very up and down. To finish off the championship standings then, I think I finished with Ron in 12th, J-Boy in 13th, Panda in 14th, Maxstar, Esitronic, Martin and Jacques are all point scorers. Rubber General, Big Boy and Dan yet to score. In terms of the constructors, the combined constructors across both divisions, Alfa Romeo, Ferrari, Alfa Tauri, Williams, Mercedes, Red Bull, Alpine, McLaren, Haas and Aston Martin at the rear. All teams have scored points so far. So first out on track, first on the grid order, on the tower on the left, it is J-Boy to take us round for his first attempt then. Beautiful dry weather. I remember as a kid watching the Hungarian Grand Prix, they would always show helicopter camera angles of the water park near the circuit, and I think as a kid I always wanted to go to the Hungarian Grand Prix for that reason alone. It always looked like tons of fun. But you can't see it from the trackside cameras. It's only the helicopter that picks it up usually. It's a 15-minute session, down to 13.5 now for our Q2. J-Boy about to start his first lap, and of course this is the session that decides the starting tyre for the drivers. We head down to turn 1, about 70-metre braking zone for J-Boy on his tyres right now. Early doors Q2, so that might trim down a little bit. Got a little bit too much turning angle to maximise the grip. Tried to compensate on the way out of turn 2, and I think maybe overdid it slightly. As we head up to turn 4, we'll see brave moves if anyone tries a move into turn 4. Blind left-hand corner over the crest and then through turn 5. Tricky chicane coming up. You can see J-Boy got too much steering input and was scared of that inside edge curb. Sheldon joins to cheer on Punaki and Ricky. I would deeply suspect that Sheldon is an AlphaTauri driver in Premier Division, as J-Boy picks up his second sector time. Solsmeister has retired from the session, so he will be eliminated from Q2 on the entrance into turn 5. Solsmeister, the only Mercedes driver here tonight, and that's not going to plan. So J-Boy heads to the line, gets a 1:17.7. Martin just behind him on track, and then we've got the Aston Martins coming up behind him. Wezo goes faster still, but Martin beats the pair of them on a 16.9. Let's see, is it Ron first? No, it's Aircitronic. So Aircitronic for the line, P4 1:19.4. Ron gets a 17.4. So we've already got one driver in the 16s. I think we'll see plenty more before this Q2 session is done. Shakes is in the pits. Punaki has gone for medium tyres. Now I don't think, I'm not sure he's got the pace to safely make it through on mediums, but it depends how many other drivers decide to do the same thing. Let's see how quickly Punaki can get this car around the Hungary ring circuit. 14 turns on the medium tyres. It's to the line, then it's an 18.2. That is a long way from safe. So he'll be hoping to improve on that. Might need to put some soft tyres on. Dan yet to score in the championship. Looking for a good starting position. Gets to P8. Beats Aircitronic on medium tyres. So Dan with a nice 18.3. But again, I think he will still be on the bubble there for elimination. Is J-Boy going around? I think he is going to go around and try again. He's come out now on, are those scrub softs? No, he's just using the same start tyre, but that would really hurt him if he sets his fastest time on those scrub softs. A little bit insensitive on the steering. Maybe again another pad user, J-Boy. It's got Dan hanging out in the middle of the road, and that's a huge block from Dan. Unfortunately, that's rubbished his J-Boy's lap. Let's see what Shakes is up to. Is he about to start a lap? No, he's just only on an out lap just now. So it looks like his teammate Brad might be the one to watch next, finishing up his lap. I wouldn't be surprised if J-Boy is a little bit annoyed about that block from Dan. Ferrari slingshots out the final corner. This straight is long enough to make a pass, even without DRS in the wet. If you can get the final corner much better than the guy you're chasing. So Brad through turn 1, nice and safely past Bottas' Red Bull. Got a yellow flag, short shift up to 4th, just to straighten the car up. Then sort of a manual traction control mechanism, short shift. Purple middle, a purple first sector I should say, but only for him. And swings the car into turn 5. How do we deal with the chicane? It's a wide entry, it's a narrow exit for Brad. Let's see if that pays off. Good lift and response from the car on the way into turn 10. I like the way he enters turn 13 with a lot of entry speed. 1:16.1 for Donovan, goes fastest. What has Brad got in response? A 1:15.7. So a good 4/10 from Brad on top of Donovan's time already. Great stuff from Brad. Let's see where Shakes is at. I know Shakes has got the stream on, hopefully the sound off for the race. I can't imagine that would be particularly useful. Purple middle for Shakes, 54.249 is his mid-sector progress. Good late apex on the final turn, and away to the line then for Shakes. And it's he joins his teammate at the top of the standings at 1:16.0 for Shakes, just less than a tenth faster than Donovan. And we've got Botta on a lap but it's an invalid lap at the moment, so he'll be probably going around again for another one. But he wouldn't necessarily want to start the race on slightly older tyres. Who's your prediction for elimination in this session? You can tell me 2 or 3 drivers you think will be eliminated apart from Solsmeister and Avalak. I did miss Avalak's retirement there, so I didn't see what happened to Avalak. We'll join Botta though and see how his lap progresses. Just over 6 minutes to go. Maybe slightly delayed on the throttle coming out of turn 4. Some understeer through the fast sector might suggest the driver has got a higher top speed setup. 54.8 is not particularly quick on the middle sector timing. Botta heading to the line then. Foot of the field so far. P5, a 17.2. Could be safe. Could well be safe. If you don't want to predict who will be eliminated, let me know what you think will be the cut-off for Q3. Funaki starts his out lap and will join the AlphaTauri driver then as he begins his next attack lap. He's on the bubble for sure. Shakes has retired from the session. So has Donovan and Ricky Lau, although I imagine Ricky Lau has retired involuntarily. And Cowboy asks in the driver chat who's running a pad. It is interesting to me as well. Brad retires too, so they won't go any quicker in this session. Funaki, a nearly half-second improvement and a purple first sector. Has he gone too fast too soon though? Can he keep these tyres in the operating window right to the end of the lap? A big challenge around the Hungary ring. Getting good performance from the car though. That would suggest a good downforce setting. Yeah, this car looking like it's on rails. A 1.3 second improvement just in the first 2 sectors alone. Funaki absolutely on fire on this lap. Just needs to finish it safely. Consolidate the gains he's already made. Don't get too greedy. You want to be at your fastest in the next session if you make it. And Funaki then heads to the line. It's a P4. P4 of a 1.6 second improvement. But only good enough for P4. I was expecting a little bit more from him, I have to say. J-Boy on his way out of the pits, and I think the rest of the drivers just kind of waiting around now for the final run. Currently then on the bubble, we've got Dan, Esitronic and possibly Jacques contesting the final stage. I'm not sure J-Boy and Wezo need to stay in the pits. I think they need to be on their way out for final laps, and you'd think that a 17.3 would be relatively safe, I'd say, at this stage. Wow, so Shakes, Brad, Donovan, all on controller, all working the pad today. So Esitronic retired from the session there, did he? I think he already had. But J-Boy looking to try and compete here. 4/10 faster through sector 1. Almost loses the car through turn 4 exit. Just holds on. We see Ron retire from a 1:17.4. So he's making the assumption no one behind him is going to go any faster. Oh, just over the limit for J-Boy, but he can cool the car, charge the charge the ERS and go again. He's got plenty of time, and that is the beauty of coming out just before everybody else. Jacques is on a lap though. He was quick earlier. Can he continue that pace through this next sector? He's quicker, 1.5 tenths quicker, and that will see him escape the elimination bubble that he's right on the edge of. Very nice line through the chicane. Funaki confirming he's also on a pad. Half a second faster goes Jacques through sector 2, and a purple sector for him. I think that's half a second to the elimination zone now, or it's relative to himself at least. And we go towards the line. Where will this time put him? It's a P4 with his teammate up there, so it's Ferrari and McLaren on top at the moment on this session. Dan looking to try and get out of the elimination zone. This lap is not looking like it's on target. I don't think he's going to go quicker. But what about J-Boy, who had a second opportunity here? He'll even get a third run. It's much quicker for J-Boy. P4 with the championship leading Alfa Romeo team. Wezo is 2 tenths quicker so far through his first sector. And an invalidation again on the exit of that turn, which we've seen so many drivers make that mistake today. Wezo will just have to hope Dan doesn't go any quicker on this next lap. Let's see what Dan can do in his next sector. It's Dan versus Wezo for elimination here. Dan is 1 tenth slower, so he's got a big job to do here. It's something like 7 or 8 tenths he needs to find in the next 2 sectors. Let's see, can he claw back any time through here? He's got the best of the track conditions. He's got a clear track in front of him. Seesawing the wheel. And he has gained in the second sector. He's not yet on target. He's going to need a full send, maximum attack, final sector here. Away to the line then, Dan goes. Can he improve? Oh, not, sadly not. It's P12, but he might be on target to score his first points of the championship, if possible, from a P12 start there. He'll need to get everything together. Ricky is on controller as well, so it's almost a predominantly controller field here. We'll get some confirmation for you as to the eliminations on that session. But Brad and Shakes, Ferrari on top, a 15.7 and a 16.0 respectively. Then Donovan and J-Boy. Jacques. J-Boy splits the McLarens with Jacques in 5th. Funaki, Martin, Botta, Ron and Wezo all make it through, but sadly we will lose Ricky, Dan, Essitronic, Solsmeister and Solsmeister and Avalak didn't even manage to register a time, crashing on their outlaps, which is a big shame. I'm going to try and get in touch with them and see what happened. And we get going for Q3. Good time to share the race on socials. Get your friends involved. Q3 is always entertaining, and the timer is already ticking down for the start of this 12-minute session. 10 drivers will compete for the their starting positions. Free choice of tyres, of course. I'm sure everyone will use soft tyres. Punaki says he doesn't think Ferrari are going to be stopped and there's a lot of McLaren teammate love going on as Donovan cheers on his teammate. So first driver out of the pits, it's a Ferrari and it shakes. So let's hear your prediction for pole position. Who's going to get it and what's the time going to be? No news, I'm afraid, from the driver room. I'm not sure I caught them early enough to find out what happened. And excellent. Shellin says Brad for pole with a 1:15.3. He's not cheering. He's not backing himself for pole. He's deleted. He's deleted the comment already. Shakes then first on track for his fast lap. All looking like it's going to plan so far. Over the line, it's 26.8 for the first sector. First car on track, of course, and we'll have Punaki just behind him. Nice distance between each driver for these laps. Shakes, big oversteer moment through the chicane. Just needs to stitch this lap together and then come back at it with a fresh set of tyres next time round. Going super wide on the exit of turn 11 as well, just testing the limits of the track now that he knows the lap can't be magic. Away we go then towards the final corner, turn 14, into a super late exit apex. Away to the line, it's a 16.1. It's not bad, but there's a lot of room for improvement to come from that lap, as we saw. A fair few mistakes. 1:16.8 for Punaki is a lot slower, honestly, than I was expecting. We've got Wezo about to cross the line, 19.5. He's just starting his lap. And we've got, is that Donovan, a 16.3 he manages to get on the board. Ron crosses the line, is 17.1. Coming up behind him, we've got Martin, and that's a 16.5. With Brad straight into the 15s, a 15.6, and Shellin's prediction was a 15.3, so we'll see if he can get up to that level. Wezo, I think, must have invalidated his first attempt here. Just stab on the throttle and then had to back out of it again on the way out of turn 7. And it's wiping out, front wing gone. He's lucky to keep the car running, frankly, after that. Jacques, though, is on his next fast lap, his first fast lap, I should say. Up the hill, left-hander, blind entry. Oh, and unfortunately, he took a purple first sector for himself and turned it into an invalidation. So everybody really back into the pits or on the way there, at least. Will we see just 2 runs from the drivers today, or will some of them manage to make it out in time? Into the pits comes Joe Boy. Anybody else out there? I think Martin might be trying one in between everybody else's attack laps. P4 currently, but 2-lap old softs. It's far from ideal. Let's see what his sector time looks like. He's actually quicker, and look at the turn-in. That was Alonso-esque turn-in to turn 4. Getting good performance out of these tyres into their second lap. Pretty good line, maybe a tiny correction on the way out of 7. Overall though, an impressive looking grip level in the Williams. Runs wide, very wide, gets a purple sector. I'm not sure how much I like that, honestly, but must have just about lifted enough. Got a very early apex, which didn't work out well for him in turn 13. Oh, and a late decision to come into the pits. Crossing the target line a little bit late there. I don't know if that'll pick up a penalty if it's done in the race like that. We do have some outlaps on the way. It looks like Martin might have more speed though. Might be contesting for top 3 start, potentially. And a little bit of a lull while we wait for the next laps to begin. I think Shakes will be first out there. So 15.6, the target time to beat. Shakes has to improve by half a second to get on terms with his teammate. DRS beeps, telling him to open up the slot gap in the rear wing. And we head down to turn 1. Again, fairly early braking. Not super confident on the brakes. Perhaps a lower downforce setting. Down into second, quickly blipping back to third. It's definitely on target here to improve, just 1/100th slower than his previous lap. We've got Ron behind him on track and Botta. Oh, Botta's just on an outlap, so no, I don't think he is. I think that's just the game glitching temporarily there. Here we go then. Running wide, we've seen that several times. If you cut back to the track early on, you will get an invalidation. If you stay out, it tends to let you go. Purple middle sector for Shakes. So looking to improve here from P2 at the moment, keeping his teammate very honest. And points the car at the light gantry. It's a 7/10 improvement. It's good enough for a 15.4. So takes provisional pole once again. Good lap from Brad. Donovan is on a lap here, but seemingly going very slowly indeed. Just building the speed for a later run. Let's see what Ron can do. He's 3/10 faster in sector 2. Heads to the line. Ron from 7th to 4th, a 16.4. but a whole second away from the pole position at the moment. What has Jacques got underneath him? He has been quick at various points this evening. He's got his teammate just slowly turning into turn 12 at the moment. Donovan needs to get right out of his way and does so. I don't know if Jacques will feel like he was slightly compromised there. There we go to the final corner for Jacques. Way to the line, and it's a P6 at the moment. P6 for Jacques. Can't do it any better right now. What about Donovan? Is he about to start a lap? I wonder. Yes, I think he is. Are they coordinating for giving each other toes? If they are, he's a little bit too far away at the moment. Donovan currently 3rd, but 9/10 away from the pole position time. See what his first sector looks like. It's a 003, and Brad is even faster than he has been before. Cars all over the infield trying to escape trouble. So Brad might be on one here. Let's wait and see. Oh, massive amount of curb through turn 7. Just about straightens the car up enough. This is looking very tidy indeed. Donovan goes to cross his sector time, 10th and a half up, but Brad, he is a 1/4 of a second faster and on target to take the pole here on this lap. Brilliant apex in turn 12. Ron retires from the session. in the pits, so he's decided that's as fast as he can go. 16.4 for Ron, but Brad might take this one. Donovan just gets his teammate Jacques, but Brad for the line. Will it be pole? It's a 15.350, exactly what Shellin predicted, but there's still a minute and 12 to go. The drivers, I don't know if they'll have time to get around if they're not already on a lap. Martin finishing his lap out here, but just preparing for a second lap run on these tyres. Botta is a bit slower than he's been before. He may need to settle for 7th. J-Boy crosses his next sector and he's up. J-Boy P8, he's up and on target then to move up. He could gain 3 or 4 places here if he can move up the grid. Shellin joins us in the live chat to say he called it. Well, he did. He was right, but it sounds like he's not going for another lap. Botta has retired from the session in 7th. Nice feathering on the throttle from J-Boy. Nearly half a second up on his previous time. J-Boy could get himself right in the mix here. He split the McLarens last time in Q2. Can he do the same this time out? Little correction. I think he's lost the best of the tyres already. Needs to be super gentle on the way out with the throttle of the final corner. And J-Boy doesn't split the McLarens. He beats the McLarens into P3. A 16.142 is his time. And we've got Martin coming round. I haven't seen his sector times, so I don't know if he's able to get himself up from 7th on the way to the line. That's a no. That's a smashing finish to qualifying. Q3 done with. Brad and Shakes are your front row. Ferrari all the way. And a long way back, J-Boy, Donovan and Jacques will contest. If qualifying is anything like if the race is anything like qualifying, it'll be the front two getting away from the rest of the grid. And then we've got Ron, Martin, Botta, Punaki and Wezo completing the top 10. Wezo did not manage to set a time, unfortunately. And again, I haven't heard from the drivers that exited the previous session, so I'll try Wezo and see. Across the line go the other drivers, and that is the end of the session. See if I can find someone on track, so we're not just looking at the destroyed Williams. So that was qualifying, and now we wait to see the race. So Brad did secure that pole position by 0.08 of a second from his teammate Shakes. Ferrari 1-2, then Alfa Romeo, Ferrari engined 1-2-3, McLaren and McLaren in 4th and 5th, Aston Martin, then Williams, Red Bull, Alfa Tauri and Haas. It's Jacques, Ron, Martin, Botta, Punaki and Wezo, your top 10 overall. So time for the race then. Qualifying will award points for pole, but all the rest of the points are paid out in the race, as you would well imagine. There'll be a small pause while we arrange the cars for the formation lap. Just heard from Stoffel, championship leader in Division 2. He says, say hello to everybody for me. Good luck. And he'll be back in force next week. So good to hear from Stoffel. Can't be entirely certain what it's about. And Wacy joins. Hi Wacy, old friend from leagues past. Good to see Wacy. Need to get you on the mic soon, Wacy, my friend. Get you in on some co-commentary when you're available. But yeah, always good to see old friends joining. So Ferrari 1-2, we got Alfa Romeo, the lone Alfa Romeo of J-Boy, the championship leading team at the moment. Then McLaren's 4th and 5th, Donovan and Jacques. Mixed fortunes for the Aston Martin team, 6th and 13th. Ron leading Air Citronic. Martin and Botta have managed to get disqualified from the session. Maybe a little bit of contact there between the two drivers, or a bit tardy starting. As has Cowboy actually. Punaki and Ricky Lau for AlphaTauri start 9th and 11th. There's only one Haas in the race, and it's Wezo. He obviously didn't set a time in Q3. Dan looking for his first points in the championship, and hoping to get them from P12. Of course, he only needs to finish where he starts to pick up his first point in FTR. Then Esitronic, as I mentioned earlier, Solsmeister, Avalak and Cowboy had difficult Q1 and Q2 sessions, and will find themselves in 14th, 15th and 16th. But 35 laps await us here at the Hungaroring. They'll disappear with a blink of an eye. It's a very quick circuit. The lap time's pretty low, and it's always sure to have plenty of action as well. Glad to have you all with us in the race. I am expecting majority one stop, but not soft to hards. I'm expecting soft to medium, or medium to soft. Got a couple of hard starters there. Ricky and Solsmeister have gone for hard tyres. Look to them to be on the defensive at the start here. But let's find you some starting lights. There we go. So the lights are on for round 4 of the championship. And it's go, go, go. A good start. Initial getaway from Shakes versus Brad. Donovan gets J-Boy from the line as well. Shakes looking a bit slow, though, in the second phase of his start. Donovan going around the outside. Can he make it stick? He certainly owns the corner. And yeah, Shakes had to cede to Donovan. Donovan now on the defensive into turn 2. Shakes might try and go the long way round. Indeed, he does. But Donovan should have the corner, and it's P2 for him. J-Boy down to P4. Looks like Ricky Lau dropping down all the way down to the foot of the field. Unfortunately, didn't catch exactly what happened to Ricky. Ron very much on the tail of Jacques, who again hasn't had the best of starts. But it's Brad, Donovan and Shakes. J-Boy, Jacques and Ron as things stand halfway through the first lap. Lots of careful treading, Botta and Wezo through the chicane. It's looking very difficult. Really only room for one car at a time through there. And we'll go back to this high-speed section then in turn 2. Looks like Donovan has had an issue. Donovan off the track. And after such a good start, he's just gifted the top 2 positions back to Ferrari. Donovan and Ricky Lau down at the foot of the field, with J-Boy chasing Shakes, who is trying to get back on terms with his teammate. Brad already 1.5 seconds ahead of Shakes. Then J-Boy 0.8 of a second behind. Jacques down to 1.6 in 4th. Then Ron, Punaki and Dan. Looks like another car circling the drain at the foot of the field. That was Esitronic. This is Punaki taking Esitronic's teammate Ron. They will be side by side on the way out of turn 1. Esitronic trying to come back into turn 2, but it looks like Punaki's definitely got the run. Sorry, it was Ron trying to come back. Esitronic down to the foot of the field. So Donovan, Ricky and Esitronic with really problematic starts. Avalak's been pretty electric from his start. Obviously gained those 3 places from the cars at the foot of the field, but also gaining himself back up to P9. And that off-track moment from Wezo is certainly going to help him. Gets up to P8. Let's see where everybody finds themselves. Botta, I think, might have a transponder issue going on. But Avalak up 6 at this stage. Dan up 5. And as I say, Dan looking for first points in the championship already. I won't bang on about that too much, but it's fairly significant. Shakes has got within half a second of his teammate Brad. And then down, you can see down 10 for Donovan, down 4 for Ricky, and Esitronic down in down 3 places from his start. Fastest laps traded between the Ferrari drivers of Brad, then Shakes. I don't know if anyone else is going to go much quicker than those two. We'll wait and see. But a reminder on the tyres, it is Ricky Lau and Solsmeister on the hards, and then the majority of the foot of the field started on those mediums. Dan doing well, the highest placed medium driver, in a good position here for the race. He's got Botta right behind him. Right behind him. And hounding him down. Avalak with Botta as well. Avalak also on the medium tyres, so he'll be happy to sit behind his teammate temporarily. Again, that transponder issue for Botta as he drops down. Was it a transponder issue? Has he indeed dropped down? No, he's right there on the circuit. We're watching him in the midfield, so hopefully we'll pick him back up again into his rightful place on the midfield in P8. Has he gone ghosted? He has actually. So is that another problem? He's dropping back from Dan, so looks like his teammate could do with getting past him, as Dan is going to get away. If he is ghosted, that's a problem for Avalak. Donovan picks up a penalty trying to chase the race back from a disastrous start, really. He had such a good launch off the line. Up we go then, as Dan is right behind Ron with the DRS this time. Now we get the DRS in action, and Dan, medium tyres, already going faster than Ron's softs. They touch on the way out. I feel that was maybe Ron touching the back of Dan and causing him to slow a little bit there. Just not navigating the corner quite safely enough. We have a yellow flag in sector 3 for no apparent reason. It's a retirement, is it, from Martin, or just a pit stop? It's just a pit stop for Martin. Very early stop. Presumably that's a 2-stopper from Martin, and possibly even a soft medium 2-stopper, not even an aggressive 2-stopper. So not great from Martin there. I wonder if that was more related to a damage repair. Jacques is hounding J-Boy for third, but the top two getting away, as you can see on the track map. The Ferrari boys absolutely having this one to themselves at this stage. Of course, we could always get a safety car around Hungaroring. We've already seen accidents and incidents, so it's certainly not impossible, but the race very much splitting into 2 or 3 groups, and Dan is proving to be the truly train in P6, holding up the rest of the field. Into the pits comes Punaki from 3 laps on his soft tyres. Is that a front wing change? That's very early. Sorry, end of his 4th lap. Puts the medium tyres on. Again though, I fully expect that to be a 2 sets of medium kind of a run, or at least a 2-stop. Avalak competes with Dan into turn 2, trying to complete the move he got done earlier. And it does still look like Botta is ghosted just behind them. Lap 5 then of 35. And Brad leads Shakes. Little gap to Jacques and J-Boy. Big gap to Avalak, Dan, Ron, Buezo, Solsmeister, Cowboy. Botta's in the mix there if he can get back in control of his car. And then the drivers who had problems at the start: Ricky, Donovan, Punaki has pitted, Martin is pitted, Esitronic, and as I say, Botta out of position, going wide. That doesn't look like an AI. He's driving the car, and Botta and Dan come to blows. Botta was off circuit, perhaps didn't rejoin the race safely, and crossed into the path of Dan. And looks like Botta definitely came off worse from that one. Will Dan have picked up any damage? Just behind him you've got Ron trying to hold off the Haas of Wezo, who will get DRS, but it didn't have the best run out of the final corner, and you definitely need that to make the overtake stick. So Ron holds on for another lap. Dan really affected by whatever went down with Botta there. The Ferraris still close together. Perhaps Shakes just happy to sit in the wheel tracks of his teammate. Just a bit further back we've got Saltzmeister trying to go around the outside of turn 4, Salzmeister tries to brave it on the inside, and I think he was slightly behind. The game certainly decided he was slightly behind, and he turns round. Salzmeister turn round. Hopefully he's back to racing speed. It was a fairly low speed incident. No damage visible, at least. That doesn't tell you everything you need to know about damage on the cars. But yeah, another incident already. Lap 6, and it has been crush, bang, wallop so far in the race, hasn't it? Kind of interesting that we still have the Russian sponsors and colour scheme on the Haas for this game. I'm surprised an update wasn't mandated to clear that a little bit and drop the Russian signifying colour scheme, as they have done in the new car. So Wezo in the Haas still can't get on terms with Ron, as Donovan pits at the end of his 6th lap for medium tyres. It's a long way to run if you're going to run the mediums to the end. I do think that anyone stopping here before lap 12 is probably targeting a 2-stop race. Martin gets the undercut on Donovan, but the field has spread dramatically after those early incidents. So I don't think Bottas' track map visual is exactly where he is. Let's go and have a look at where Bottas is relative to the rest of the field. Well, it is where he says it is. Obviously had that contact with Dan earlier on, and we've got a yellow flag. Where is that? Sector 2 and 3, where a lot of cars will go off the circuit through turn 11 and trigger a yellow flag, but it's no major dramas. Now, can Wezo get a better entry or exit of the final corner? Oh no, he's just got too close to Ron in the mid corner. That's going to hold him up. I think he's close enough to make a move though. Down the inside using DRS. Pretty easy, but the previous lap was not easy. So well deserved as J-Boy pits and puts hard tyres on. So that's the first time we've seen a soft to hard strategy option. See if J-Boy can make that one work. That is what the game will tell you to do, but is it what experience will tell you to do? Let me know if you're cheering on J-Boy in the live chat. Are you in agreement with this strategy? Are the Alfa Romeo team supplying each other with ideal target lap times and plans, or is it a free-for-all? Dan driving well in P5 still. Avalac, of course, making up loads of places so far, and on the medium tyre, up 11 places for Avalac. So turning his qualifying poor qualifying into a much better start here of the race. Lap 8 complete. Ferrari's about to go through and complete and start lap 9. There they go. And into the pits comes Jacques from 3rd place. So Jacques from 3rd into the pits, another medium runner, and another soft runner from the start. He goes onto the hards as well. Ron comes in. So Jacques and J-Boy making the same decision on the tyres, looking for a 1-stop. It looks like Ron's going for mediums though. We're starting to get towards that area where the mediums might become an option to the end of the race. It's going to be a long stint though for the drivers. Again, looks like Shakes very much just sitting there in his teammates' wheel tracks. We'll go and have a look at them shortly and see if Shakes is able to save any ERS relative to his teammate. But for now, a more competitive situation is J-Boy not getting an undercut on Jacques. But he's got his hards up to temperature, and it can take up to 2.5 laps to get your hards ready to fight with. So J-Boy will be looking to capitalise on that right now. He is quicker. He's going to lose aero through this section unless he anticipates it with additional lock. Can't be a surprise to anybody in the game at this stage. Here we go then. He might be in range into turn 12. It's a very different line through the corner. That's one way of mitigating that aero loss. But there, it just tail getting happy, and it's all about his exit at the final corner really. Can he avoid the same situation? Crosses into the exhaust of Jacques. And with DRS, I think J-Boy's going to have this relatively straightforward. And he'll get a second bite of DRS as well, down to turn 2. I'm not a huge fan of double DRS zones like that without intermediate detection zones, but there we have it. Perhaps it stops the drivers playing too many games as well. So J-Boy up to P8 then, managed to get Jacques. And let's see, as Brad pits and Shakes takes up the lead. Didn't quite have time to have a look at that. Shakes wasn't saving a lot of ERS. Was Brad? Yes, he was. So Shakes has been struggling to hang on to the coattails of his teammate. Does he pit now to avoid too much in the way of a difference? Yes, into the pits, just holding the car. Looks like those softs are done and dusted. So Shakes in the pits. Brad already back up to speed on the medium tyres, and Avalac, the lead medium driver, becomes the lead overall driver. Brad then comes round. Wezo might have a look at the back of Dan just ahead on track. I don't think he's quite close enough, as the Ferraris will be very close to each other on pit exit. There they come. Shakes with his teammate, but his teammate is at full speed. Shakes has to continue to follow Brad, and he might be able to just stay with him through this early phase. Brad will have been ragging those tyres. There's no point Shakes doing the same. He can bring the tyres up to temperature as softly as possible. He knows that Brad's going to have a bit of traffic in front of him and maybe have a little bit of an edge later on. He'll have one less lap on the tyres, and he'll be able to bring them into temperature a lot more gently than his teammate was. So maybe Shakes will have a little advantage towards the end of the stint. Yellow flag in sector 1. We have a stopped car and we have a safety car just after the soft runners have pitted. Now that is decision time for the leaders on 10 lap old mediums. They must pit surely, but for what? Do they go for a double soft stint, or do they go for a hard tyre? Absolutely in between the soft and the hard for the ideal finish to the race. Let's see what Avalac does as he comes into the pits. Dan comes into the pits as well, so Dan made it up to P2 temporarily. Wezo up to P3. Into the pits they come, and Brad and Shakes will resume the lead of this race. What has Avalac gone for? He's gone for the hard tyres, so he's going to have to be pretty aggressive on them through the safety car period. But that was Cowboy retiring from the race, our first major retirement from this race. So very interesting. We've got new hards going on to Dan and Wezo. And yeah, like I say, just right in between the ideal stopping point for the drivers. Looks like Ricky passed up the opportunity for the safety car. Now, is that a bit of a tactical error? Because he could have put mediums on. He's already used the hards. Mediums will make it to the end of the race. A lot of drivers around him are going to be on hard tyres. Could well be a tactical error from Ricky to not take advantage of that pit stop. He hasn't pitted yet. He still has to pit at the end of the race for soft tyres. So possible learning point for Ricky. I don't know. We'll see how it works out. Of course, another safety car just could completely invalidate everything I'm saying, but you have to presume that you won't get another one. What's happening with Dan here? Just going a little bit slowly. But no big dramas. He's under racing speed. And now, of course, the rest of the field will catch up and have another chance of redemption in the race if the start didn't go their way. 12th place climb for Avalac, absolutely the star of the first sector of the race, as we are almost approaching halfway point. Brad and Shakes well away at the front of the field, but Avalac will be the first on the defensive on the hard tyres. He needs to be getting very aggressive once the field closes in to the back of the Mercedes safety car. Wezo, the only driver to still be where he started, down in 10th place. I think that is Avalak and Dan getting a little bit certainly risking. I think one of those two drivers has got very poor internet. It looks like possibly Dan, and Avalak should be ahead of him on track. Dan might be running AI just to check out Race Director or something like that, but unfortunately that is messing with Avalak's race a little bit. So I wonder what the issue is there for Dan, and how stressed is Avalak getting with all that going on. Let's look at the penalties, shall we? As Ricky has picked up 3, so has Donovan, Esitronic and Botta. But overall, very well controlled race to this point. And we should hopefully have Bernd Mailander heading to the pit shortly for phase 2 of our race. 13 laps down, a further 22 to go. 21 to go, really. But Braden Shakes at the head of the field. I don't anticipate anything particularly monumental happening at the front. I think it will start happening here for Avalak, who is weaving slightly, but I'm not sure is quite putting the energy he needs into the hard tyres. They haven't had a heat cycle at racing speed, of course, and he needs to really get on, lean on those tyres, get the temperature in. His only saving grace is there is a 12-lap-old hard runner just behind him of Ricky. However, Ricky will probably move aside as soon as he can for Punaki to go through. It's his teammate on medium tyres. Punaki also not pitting under that safety car. J-Boy and Jacques just had the Ferraris go. We go green flag racing, and as predicted, really, Avalak struggling out of the final corner. It is in fact Ricky who is going to be right there on the braking zone. Avalak voyage into the unknown. Ricky goes wide, lets his teammate past, and that means Punaki will be next one behind Avalak with the DRS profit. I think Avalak will already be dropping out of range. I'm not quite sure how Dan has legitimately got past Avalak there on track, but we'll have to live with it and deal with it later. Cowboy not happy, he's out, and gives it the old comment in the driver chat. That's all I can broadcast. Oh no, big mistake there from Dan on the way out of turn 7. Just holds on to the car, but that will bring Avalak right back with him. 2.4 seconds lost to Shakes and Brad for Dan, and in 3rd place at the moment, and a full course yellow has been announced, and there goes Dan out of the race, spinning wide. I don't think he'll be able to move that car. The front wheel's gone. Will that trigger another caution period? Martin obviously having all kinds of drama as well on the restart, almost as if he's pitted again, but a full course yellow we have. That appears to be all we've got so far. Punaki is within range here of a challenge against Avalak, and just starting to get away from his teammate. His teammate giving him a little bit of room there to fight. And what can Donovan do on the back of Wezo? Wezo also looking pretty racy on the back of Jacques, although I think Jacques might have just passed him. Jacques on slightly older, slightly warmer hard tyres. Many of the drivers, should we not get another safety car, are pitted to the end already. Oh wow, Wezo, big snap of oversteer, just held onto the car, very well held, recovers as he pulls towards turn 5, but Wezo dropping back behind Donovan, and that one was wrapped in ribbon for Donovan, who squeezed his way past. So very awake, very alert, and able to react nicely. Shakes has almost dropped out of DRS range behind his teammate. They don't really want to be doing that. I would imagine they want to use the DRS to continue their gap to the field. Avalak 3.6 seconds back from the leading Ferraris after just 1 lap post safety car. And finally we go green flag again, so no more safety car. DRS has been enabled, and now we should see some action at the head of the field. J-Boy will be the first one with the DRS profit on the car in front, but of course he can't flick the switch until they've been round turn 1, I believe, or possibly even the next one. Has he been able to put the DRS on? No, because there's only one detection zone. So unfortunately, we won't see it just yet in action. Simps stops by. Simps of SAF1 as well. I know Simps from SAF1. Great job, Brad and Shakes, he says. So Simps, are you driving Ferrari in Premier Division, or have you just got good mates here? Love to know that kind of info. And how's the new TV working? Have you got it sorted? Shakes, he's got that gap back under control at the front. It was in danger of running out there, wasn't it? And we'll have a look at those guys soon. But plenty of show throughout the race going on. Again, the field splitting into a definite midfield here. Currently led by, I'd say, Ricky Lau on the hard tyres, trying to get to just about 9 or 10 laps to go. That's when he'll put the soft tyres on, unless there is another safety car, of course. Okay, so Simps is a McLaren driver, so he should be cheering for Donovan and Jacques, but friendship trumps teammates, it seems, in the Zondi house. There's a lot of curbside dips in this track, and you can just see the car bottoming out as Donovan puts a great move on J-Boy into turn 2. Donovan, he's got much better tyres at this stage, but he'll take the pain later in the stint. I think his tyres will be okay to the end. Gonna see if Cowboy will be willing to let me in on any details about what happened. But Shake's now getting very close to his teammate. Let's have a quick look at their telemetry. Shake's on 87 and Brad on 54. So Shakes is able to stay with his teammate quite nicely here. Maybe save a bit of fuel. Certainly save ERS in comparison by using the DRS through the lap where it's allowed. And now Donovan has wasted no time getting on the back of Ricky Lau. So the next victim looks to be Ricky, as Donovan gets away from the final corner. DRS in action, and there goes Donovan, just waiting for his second bite of the cherry on the way into turn 2. Will he do this an exact similar move that he did on Donovan? He's a little bit far behind though at the moment, so almost gave up the opportunity to pass into turn 1 there, did Donovan, betting on being able to do it the next turn, but it didn't work out. Meanwhile, Punaki gets further away from him, so maybe a mistake to assume you'd be able to use it. Esotronic pits for medium tyres to the end of the race on lap 18. Should be comfortable enough. Should be able to push those tyres pretty hard. The gap at the front, under half a second at times. Not exactly as I say, but getting there. And this midfield train is starting to split beyond the DRS gap, and then they will drift away. Look at the difference in grip Donovan has got here. Will he change tactics this time? Takes a much tighter line for an earlier throttle application on the way out. Ricky going defensive already. Punaki's gone in the pits, interestingly enough, on those medium tyres. Here comes Donovan then down into the inside. He'll give space to the outside, or he at least should do, when the camera angle finally gets there. And he'd already completed the move with the additional grip on the medium tyres. So up to P4 now, but racing with a 3-second penalty. We've got a yellow flag in sector 1. That is the other McLaren of Jacques, who has been off track. Has he been off track? He certainly has. I think that's an end plate loss. It is. So Jacques will need to pit now and get that repaired. Good time to put mediums on, but certainly not the plan at all. So Donovan gets another penalty, and he's just been released from Ricky Lau. And how often do we see that with drivers? Oh, and Ricky off track. Ricky off track and retiring. Ricky completely out of it. noticed him briefly off track. Jacques will arrive at the scene of that accident, and we have our second safety car. Couldn't be better for Jacques, who had just taken an end plate off. And into the pits comes Brad. Does not come Shakes. So Avalac pits as well. Presumably that's going to be is that going to be soft tyres for a long safety car run potential, or is that going to be fresh mediums? It's definitely fresh mediums for the drivers. Those are the decisions as Donovan's in. So is J-Boy. Solsmeister goes past the pit lane. He feels he can get his mediums as far into the race as Shakes can too. But interesting decision making going on across the teams. Of course, Shakes would have had to have stacked behind his teammate, although they had enough of a gap really to make that work. But Shakes deciding he'd rather have track position. Brad rejoins in 4th, so not too far back, but he'll have to navigate Ron and Solsmeister. You feel that would be a fairly easy thing to do. Jacques puts a new front wing on, gets overtaken by Martin in the pits, but I think Martin will stop now at his pit box. Yes, there he goes. So Jacques retakes that place back, and he'll start this in 10th place. So damage limitation absolutely for Jacques after losing that end plate and changing the front wing. What is going on with Botta though at the moment? He's down in 14th position. He has just stopped for fresh mediums. So just going to be interesting to see Shakes, Saltzmeister and Ron defend the rest of the field on the latter third of this Hungarian Grand Prix. Penalty count back. Still those 3 seconds for Jacques, Esitronic and Botta, but 6 seconds now for Donovan. And with these safety cars, that is really going to hurt. Punaki on and J-Boy on for good results thanks to that penalty. Stops made so far. Martin's been in the pits 4 times, but a mixture of 1, 2 and 3 stops. And a position change wise, Solsmeister currently up 12, but expect that to drop down with him being on worse tyres. Avalac up 10 and could well finish this race in the best places gained position overall. Then we've got a bit of a mixed fortunes for everybody. Of course, Jacques down on his start. Donovan, good recovery, but he did start P4, sorry, and was down at the foot of the field after lap 1. And we've lost Ricky Lau, Dan and Cowboy. Botta is so far back at the moment that he hasn't overtaken the stricken Ricky Lau's car, which is pretty interesting. Ricky said his tyre burst and his car just pulled right, so maybe taking the tyres that step too far possibly, or maybe just blind luck. And Cowboy tells me he got pushed off. I'm going to try and find out. I'm going to be cheeky and try and find out who pushed him off. And hopefully he'll give us that info if he's a little bit cross about it. So like I say, Salzmeister up 12 places, but on older tyres. Avalac on new tyres will be in a much better place to restart this race. But Brad, he was leading this race. He started on pole. So will he be able to get back up in contention with Shakes? And will Shakes live to rue that decision to not pit? I'm going to hang out with Brad here on board because the drivers in front are all on older tyres. He'll be looking for a really, really hot start. Get the job done as early as possible. When does Shakes go? Earlier the better, I think, for his sake. Simp says possibly that Ricky ran over the end plate. That's a good call. Debris causing issues. Oh, we go 3 wide for Avalac. Punaki possibly outbrakes himself, maybe going Bottas bowling, and Avalac prospering off both of them. Brad not really with them, not really on it, and wow, Avalac going for the high road round the turn 2, and well, just giving enough space to Brad on the inside. Brad on newer tyres. Oh, big contact between Brad and Donovan. That looked a little bit dodgy. Avalak would have had a great view of that as well. So slightly rough driving from Brad there into the side of Donovan, who managed to get Avalak as he and Brad were debating positions on the way out of turn 3. So managed to drive around them. Yeah, very difficult to see Brad and Donovan not coming to blows like that, and Avalak dropping back to P6, playing the patient game. Martin gets a 5-second penalty for ignoring yellow flags, so not paying attention to the instruction to lift. Donovan very defensive. I wonder if he's picked up some damage with that contact, and Botta has left the session properly now and is not in control of his car fully, but it is still circulating. Avalak on the back now of Donovan, but meanwhile Brad gets further away. Salzmeister dropped out of DRS range already after just 1 lap from the leader Shakes. So it's going to be Shake, Salzmeister, Ron, Brad, Donovan, Avalak, followed by J-Boy, Punaki, and Avalak picks up a penalty as well. Very unusual to see that going on. Getting a little bit out of shape behind the McLaren driver of Donovan. It's very busy. You can get unsighted into corners and just lose the car slightly there. Lap 23 of 35. 12 complete laps to run, and it has been high drama here as usual in FTR Division 2. Reminder, our championship leader Stoffel not able to make the race today, and he will obviously drop back from the Ferrari drivers. Ricky Lau leaves the session officially, but he'd long left the race. And now we get DRS enabled, but not for this straight, as Avalak tries to get Donovan just on slipstream alone. No way through there, as Brad did manage to get Ron. Brad and Ron will come out of that corner, and Brad is ahead significantly. Donovan stays ahead of Avalak, and in they go into turn 2 with the Alfa Romeo of J-Boy right with Avalak as well. It's going to be super tight, this battle for 4th place, as we finish. We enter the final section of our race. Ron picks up a penalty though, so it makes it a clean sweep 4th to 6th with penalties. So J-Boy, Punaki and Wezo might be picking up places as a result of that. Shakes though out and away in front of the field as Brad struggling. Avalak tries to get underneath the McLaren in the sector 2. That's pretty brave stuff from Avalak. Head down into turn 12. Donovan wide again, trying to not run into Ron, I think. And here comes Avalak, almost gets his nose chopped off coming out of the penultimate corner. Avalak a little bit slow through the final corner though. I think will struggle to be on terms. Donovan with DRS, easy blast past Ron. Is Avalak tempted to follow suit? Not quite able to make it work. He's got DRS, but so has the cars behind him. Into turn 2, little touch, was it? Tiniest of touches, but it would have been enough to turn him round if he'd have been on throttle. So very wise to duck out of that move. Patience will be the way through here. Shakes 2.1 seconds ahead of Salzmeister, who is nearly 2 seconds ahead of Brad, but that gap is dropping pretty quickly. Brad was the pole sitter and former leader before the second safety car. 10 laps to go now. Simp says if he was Brad, he would hold up Salzmeister now, so that Shakes can pit for softs and get P2 at the end, playing the team game. Yeah, it's a good option. Try and get the maximum amount of points, including the fastest lappers. We've got a yellow flag in sector 3. I can't see anybody stationary. Might just be someone running wide temporarily. Here comes Avalak then, tucked right up behind Ron. DRS open. Ron hasn't got DRS from the car in front. So Avalak, this should be fairly straightforward. Will Punaki have a go on the back of J-Boy? He will. Very tight battle there, but he didn't quite get the move done, as now J-Boy defends to the inside through turn 2. Side by side they go. Punaki still on the inside. Oh, and J-Boy just sweeps across the front, and Punaki yielded on that occasion. I'm glad that we haven't got any more major accidents and incidents happening right now. We've already lost 3 of our drivers. We didn't start with that many. Avalak then easily gapping Ron, who is next going to fall foul of the speed of J-Boy. Ron on the older mediums. He's on a conservation run to the end of this race unless he needs to stop for softs. So Brad has got within 1.2 seconds of Solsmeister. And it is relatively straightforward to hold cars up here, I would have thought. As long as you use all your ERS coming out of the final turn and out of turn 1, I think you would be able to defend from any level of DRS. Down goes Punaki after picking up a penalty. A nice speculative move on Ron. Gets the job done very quickly, does Punaki. Ron tries to come back though. Will he fight this one? No, not quite. And he might have just cost himself a battle with Wezo, who will be invited to take a look. Donovan's closed right up on Brad, and this could really spoil the Ferrari party. Donovan has got more speed than Brad at this stage. Maybe he's committed to a 2-stop or a 1 additional stop to the end of the race. Certainly seems quite happy. So Ricky just saying he had no idea what happened. Car just pulled right, puncture on the straight, and he had no control. First time it's happened to Ricky, but great to hear from him nonetheless. Always good to get that kind of detail live on stream. Really helps with everybody's enjoyment of the race, mine included. Very tight battle now for P3. I wonder why Brad is so slow at this stage. What's he up to in comparison to the cars around him? He's actually spending quite a lot of ERS, and Avalak's been the most conserving of them. Down to the outside runs Donovan. He's just behind, so Brad will be able to run him out to the outside of the circuit. Does this invite Avalak to have a look down the inside? Donovan just goes for it. That was pretty brave and a tiny touch, but no harm, no foul, I think, from Donovan, and he goes up to P3. So he's been quick, if a little bit ragged today, Donovan, and the cars pass the AI car of Botta down in P13. Tunable says Austria deja vu for Shakes. He's 1-stopping and he's good on the tyre management. Okay, great to hear that detail as well. So thanks for that. If you are just joining us on air, where have you been? But you've missed a cracker, so do watch the rest of the race. 7 to go though in this round 4 of the championship. And of course, if you subscribe to the channel, you'll be in the right place at the right time for the Premier Division, where these guys, cross-divisional teammates, compete at the same track. But that's still to come this week as we finish off this race, this Grand Prix around the Hungary ring here for the Division 2. But Punaki out of shape into turn 1, gets retaken by Wezo. Problem there for Punaki. And where on earth has all of Brad's speed gone, I wonder? Avalak, quarter of a second separating him and Brad, him and J-Boy, and actually J-Boy getting through in the chicane of all places. There's Wezo with a 3-second time penalty. Another one. So we've only got 4 of our runners without penalty at all. Jack is close to Ron further back, but I don't know, will Avalak have a go here? Will J-Boy try it? Car's just too far away to compete. Avalak has dropped backwards slightly in this phase of the race. Here he is 9 laps deep into his medium run, but so is everyone around him. So 5 to go now as Shakes leads by 3.6 seconds from Solsmeister, with Donovan just 0.3 behind him now. Into the middle sector they run for the 30th time tonight in race conditions. Of course, we've had 3 sessions of qualifying as well. It's been a very busy night. Hard work for the drivers. They'll be entering that fatigue phase of the race now, especially difficult for the top 3 on the oldest mediums. Simp saying that Brad may have floor damage. Well, they did come to blows, and I'm not sure I could blame anybody apart from Brad for that. That damage could be side pod, the way he kind of sideswiped Donovan, and he certainly would have been nervous seeing Donovan dive bomb him down the inside, who was not willing to take any prisoners and is not competing for the championship at this stage either. So Brad having to be a little bit more shy, and he'll be regretting that pit stop he made, because that brought him into the clutches of the midfield, and of course he was leading the race comfortably, but who knows, maybe he knew all along he would never make a one-stop work round here. Round goes the Mercedes driver of Solsmeister round turn 2, and there is exactly what I was talking about, the fatigue phase of the race, the time when the drivers just can't do it, and he drives right across into Jacques. Jacques will be very glad that the car was temporarily ghosted, but good grief, that was a very unsafe rejoin. Round he goes again, and I wonder if we'll see a retirement now from Solsmeister. That was well, not his finest moment, I'm sure he'd agree. Avalak with him. Donovan promoted to 2nd. Brad now up to 3rd place, but he's got J-Boy right behind him. Donovan, remember, with that penalty, is definitely going to be in the clutches of a number of drivers before the end of this race, unless he can close the gap to Shakes and hope that the rest of the drivers slow each other down. J-Boy might have this, but I was very surprised to see Solsmeister spin at that point on the circuit. 3 complete laps to run for the leader. We're into the business end of this race, and here comes J-Boy on Brad. Brad doesn't go for a defensive move, just taking his normal line through the corner, but J-Boy will get a second go at this. Struggled to get the car under control though through turn 2. The way that Brad closed off the corner on exit, very smart, and J-Boy with nowhere to go is going to have to do it all over again, and Donovan gets further away now from this group, which is absolutely helping him. Ooh, Shakes. Too much turn in, too much entry curb into turn 6, getting himself slightly sideways, and Avalak closing the gap once again. It was only minor, but it only takes a small correction there. Brad out of shape, and he's got no real excuse to be out of shape through turn 11, apart from that potential side pod damage that we're speculating on. I don't have a telemetry program to read the damage on the cars. I wish I did. And away we go down the start-finish straight once again then. Avalak has the DRS, so does J-Boy ahead. Avalak looking for some room to have a go. Can't quite get there. Another bout of DRS, but so has J-Boy ahead. J-Boy just can't get Brad at this stage. Jacques finally passes Ron for P8. Further back, are they still fighting over it? Yes, they are. Side by side into turn 2. Ron with nowhere to go though. this battle for third and fourth is where it's at tonight. Francois cheering on Punaki in seventh. I'm sure Francois sad to see the other AlphaTauri driver already out of the race. That's Ricky Lau on a suspected debris puncture. J-Boy picks up a penalty. Oh, that's pretty big for him, because he's going to struggle now to hold on to the tail of Donovan up ahead, who is closing the gap slowly and surely to Shakes. Shakes pacing himself to the end of the race though. Here comes J-Boy then with his best opportunity yet on Brad. A late move across the circuit from Brad. Avalak trying to follow suit. J-Boy tries to close off the exit this time. You have good grip on the outside, but he gets out of shape. It's still going to be battling side by side down into turn two. Avalak trying to follow J-Boy through. Doesn't fancy too much of this one. And J-Boy completes the move, but it was hard work. Brad trying to hold on with all the skills available to him. So I think J-Boy has got more pace than Brad, and Brad picks up another penalty for the race. So does Martin, and that means it's just Shakes and Solsmeister without penalty at this stage. Solsmeister possibly running with damage as well, and just getting passed by Martin. Solsmeister going backwards but racing without penalty, so credit to him for that at least. We're on the penultimate lap for the leader, who has a good cushion to this battle in the for second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, all in a line with each other. Who will be the next one to go for the move? Avalak is close enough to Donovan. Donovan not able to get away from the rest of the guys here. He's actually derating down the straight. Just saw his tail light flashing. And J-Boy's close right on the back of him. J-Boy here for the championship leading Alfa Romeo team, looking to try and defend the championship lead from Ferrari. And it's not all about what happens in Division 2 for the constructors. It's combined with Division 1, the Premier Division, excuse me. So Shakes is on his final lap. He's about halfway round the track. Ron picks up another penalty, 3-second penalty, multiple warnings we're told, but a lot of drivers are going to be close enough to Donovan here. Shakes is on target to put another lap on the Botta AI car, but it does look to be Ferrari all the way. It's Shakes who takes the win in Hungary. Race number 4, won by Shakes. Donovan crosses the line second, but J-Boy gets him. Brad joins his teammate on the podium for a 1-3 for Ferrari, a 1-2-3 for Ferrari engines, and Avalak securing 4th place. We've got Wezo up to 5th and Donovan dropping all the way down to 6th. He ran second, but with that extra penalty to everybody else, Donovan picks up 6th place. Quick look at fastest lap. We've got Punaki in 7th, Jacques in 8th, Ron in 9th, Estitronic in 10th, Martin 11th and fastest lap. Solsmeister in 12th, presumably, though without penalty. I think he's too far away from Martin. I think he's driving with some damage. Can't get the car around the corners very successfully, so crosses the line. Solsmeister will get 12th place, and I think Botta will not be counted as finishing the race because he's not been in control of his car for some time. Who gets driver of the day then? Avalak for places gained. Hard to argue. Drove a pretty clean and handy race, but I think Shakes drove a great race too, obviously. There he is, soaking up the applause. Shakes lifts the trophy, and it's champagne time in Hungary for round 4. We'll take you through the order, but a quick thank you to everyone who has been watching with us. Everyone, a special thank you if you've taken the trouble to like the video and subscribe to the channel today. If you've enjoyed the commentary, you can find me on most socials at WebORed5. and you can follow me on Twitter and see every time I go live as well. Well, here we go. Shakes wins the race from second on the grid, 50-minute plus race time. Add on to that 3 sessions of qualifying. It's been a long session. J-Boy in second, Brad in third, then from first. So the top 3 finished as the top 3, but in completely different orders. Avalak from 15th up to 4th gets driver of the day. Wezo in 5th. Donovan in 6th. Punaki, Jacques, Ron, Esitronic, Martin, Solsmeister finished the race in control of their vehicle. Botha did not, and Lau, Ricky, Dan and Cowboy failed to finish the race, unfortunately. Dan still on the hunt for that first championship point. Thank you for being with us tonight. Thank you to everybody involved in the FTR Division 2, and from everybody at FTR and myself, Webbo, we will catch you on the next race day.